you have 1, 2, 3 virtual machines, and the host operating system. So that's 4 different computers running on this one piece of hardware. And that's why performance and sizing the hardware properly is so important. So once again, this is called the virtualization management layer approach. And in this case, you have the host operating system, the virtualization software, and then the virtual machines on top of that. So this host operating system is typically called the host. That's the host. And then the virtual machines up here, these are called the guest. So the guest operating systems run inside the host operating system. And so these are important terms that you need to be familiar with, host and guest. Now, many people ask immediately, well, what's the performance hit on the guest operating systems for running inside this virtualization environment? Well, there's no set number, but in general, people say 5 to 20% performance penalty will be imposed on the virtual machines or the guest operating systems. But it really varies based on the applications you're running inside those operating systems, the amount of hardware you have, and the host operating system that you're running. Many times the guest operating systems you run, you don't notice any sort of performance penalty at all. Many times they function just as any other regular server would. But of course that varies on the application requirements that you're running inside those guest operating systems. I mean, if you're just running a single application, say Microsoft Word, well, that doesn't use much of the machine, and the minimum requirements that you configure on the guest operating system would be fine to run an application like Microsoft Word. On the other hand, if you try to run Microsoft Exchange and you have 50 email servers, you're going to see a significant performance decrease if you're running it in this virtualization management layer, because the hardware requirements and the performance penalty are going to take a hit on that Exchange server. Now, is that to say that the users who are the clients of that Exchange server would notice that performance penalty? Well, probably not. With just 50 users, they might not even notice, as long as you have enough hardware to support that virtualization of that application. So now let's look at a different approach to virtualization. Now, users who are willing to spend more money and get greater performance in return could use this approach. This is called the dedicated virtualization approach. Now, the primary product used in this approach is VMware ESX Server. ESX Server is